Hello. So after my last video, I decided to pick up some really bright matte shadows. Aren't they beautiful? Let's go ahead and unbox them. So after a lot of research, I decided to buy these bright matte shadows from Give Me Glow, since they seem to be known for having some really bright matte shadows, which I was really attracted to. And also they were having a really great sale. So I did purchase this last year, so probably like 6 months-ish ago. So be aware that they are still having the sale, but most of the things are gone now, or at least most of the things that you'll see in this video. But as you can see here, I did pick up a blush in addition to the shadows. And I was hoping that it would be sort of a really pigmented version of things that I have. It looks like it has a bit more of a red undertone though, as opposed to my Haus Labs in Dragonfruit Daze and that Pat McGrath shadow in Rose Rebellion. I was really impressed with the Give Me Glow packaging. I think I'm so used to ordering things from Sephora and Ulta, and maybe at most you'll get like paper packaging and very rarely bubble wrap. So I was really happy to see all of these get to me without having any issues, without being broken. Now, one thing to note is all of these eyeshadows are in 37mm pans, which is totally different from any other eyeshadows that I have. And I think this is why Give Me Glow is doing as big as a sale as they have been, is they're basically getting rid of old stock because they're moving from 37mm pans to the more standard 26mm pans. And I personally don't mind getting additional products, so I was fine with that. I was fine with getting more product at a discount. So I'm organizing the blues and teal at the bottom. I got Starboy, Club Sapphire, and Brazilian Bikini. That's the teal one. Basically, I was trying to get all of the bright blues that they still had. Starboy looked like it would be more of like a dark but possibly bright blue, so we'll have to see on the swatch what it looks like. And then the next row are kind of the purpley ones, although I don't think I really got too many actual purples. But we have Wino Clock, which is kind of the darker purpley color. And then in the middle is the more sparkly one. It's the only one that isn't a matte. It's called Jellyfish. And it's a purple with kind of this blue flip. It's very pretty. Let's see, what else do I have? Bubblegum that I put up in the corner. And there's I'm with the DJ, which is that more purple color that I'm putting in that second row. And then I have Strawberry Cheesecake and Strawberry Piñata, which are both pretty bright pinks, and you can't really tell a difference on screen, I don't think. And here I'm going back to swatch the blush. It is a really beautiful bright color, but I think it still does trend a little bit more red than I was hoping. I was really looking for something that would replace the Rose Rebellion Pat McGrath eyeshadow because I've been using that whenever I want a really bright pigmented blush. And it kind of, they're very similar. They are similar, but the Pat McGrath eyeshadow does have a more cool tone to it. It has more of a blue undertone. And same with the Haus Labs. It has more of a blue undertone, although it really is more of a lighter bubblegum pink, whereas Rose Rebellion is a bit more of like a deeper, almost like a fuchsia color. And the blush is really more of a red pink, or what I would consider a red pink on my skin tone. So that's a little bit disappointing. But I'll probably be able to use it as eyeshadow if it doesn't look too warm toned on my lids. So here I'm swatching Raspberry Cheesecake, Strawberry Piñata, and Bubblegum. And so these are my bright pink colors that I was really excited about. Raspberry Cheesecake ended up being a bit more, I don't know if muted is the right word. It just doesn't show up as brightly on my skin as I would like. It looks a little bit dark. Maybe it is just a little bit too dark for my skin tone for what I want. But Strawberry Piñata and Bubblegum, and especially Bubblegum actually, is really pretty. I really like those two. I'll be interested to see what these all look on my eyes, especially since I tend to wear bright shadows like this a little bit sheared out, so they're going to look a little bit different. Now the blush next to all of these is looking pretty red, even next to Raspberry Cheesecake, Strawberry Piñata, and Bubblegum. All of these have really strong blue undertones. And I actually think that Strawberry Piñata and Bubblegum look a lot like Rose Rebellion and Dragonfruit Daze, which is good because I love those two colors. Now we have Wine O'Clock, Jellyfish, and I'm with the DJ. And you can see how Wine O'Clock goes on just very dark. Jellyfish goes on a lot more opaquely than I usually like in a shimmer, but it's really pretty. It's a very beautiful color. And then I'm with the DJ is definitely more of a purpley pink than I usually am drawn to, but I think it's a really pretty color and I think that it pairs really beautifully with the Jellyfish. So Jellyfish and I'm with the DJ, I think I'm going to enjoy, but Wine O'Clock looks very, it looks very brown on me, I feel like. Maybe it's warm toned, maybe it's too dark. I did kind of get it as a liner color, but I don't know if that's going to look good on me. That might be something that I might not like that one. But yeah, but these two at the bottom I really like. I really like those. And now it's time to swatch the blues. So we have Starboy, Club Sapphire, and Brazilian Bikini that I keep on wanting to call Bikini Bottom. Um, but we have Starboy, and it kind of like Wine O'Clock is a little bit darker than I think I would generally like. And then Club Sapphire here is looking really nice and bright. That one I like. And Brazilian Bikini is also looking very bright, which I like a lot. I really like those two bottom ones. They're nice and bright. Those look like what I was looking for. That's my cobalt blue and my teal blue. So I'm very happy about those two.
Yeah, these two I really like. I'm happy I got these. I was going back and forth on getting these. These are really nice and bright on my skin. And I feel like my skin usually dulls really bright colors. I think it might be the olive skin tone. But these look really nice. This one, I don't know. I probably could have done it without this one, just Starboy, and this one, which is Wine O'Clock. I kind of got these as liner colors, but I don't really know if I like them with the rest of these colors. They're okay. I don't hate them, but I probably didn't need to get them. I actually expected this one, the more purpley one. I'm with the DJ. I expected it to be more purpley, but it's actually quite pink, even on my skin. And it pairs really, really well with Jellyfish. These two go together very, very well. Again, Wine O'Clock, I don't really like. It's a little bit of a muddy color, but I kind of knew that already when I purchased it. Bubble I really like. To be perfectly honest, Bubble is very similar to my Haus Labs blush. So I probably didn't need this. I probably could have just used my blush. But this will allow me to build up and get like a more intense color if I really want to. And these two I was surprised with too. So this is Strawberry Piñata and this is Strawberry Cheesecake. Strawberry Cheesecake I expected to be a much brighter color. And it's a bit duller than I expected. Strawberry Piñata is really what I expected Strawberry Cheesecake to be, and I think the blush color, Pink Freak, is what I expected Strawberry Piñata to be. So I'm probably going to see how this blush does on my eyes, because I kind of like that color better than these two. But overall, these feel really nice. Mattes do feel like a bit dry, but they look good on my skin, and they look very intense. I will say, though, I understand why people really like the, the non-matte formulas. I think this is a metallic or foiled or something. This is really pretty. And it goes on very, very thin. So I don't expect to have any issues with texture or creasing. So I think these are really nice. I'm really happy with this purchase. But one thing that I was curious about when I was purchasing this was how these would look in the pan. Because I've been wanting to get some indie eyeshadow colors for a while, but I really like my Pat McGrath motherships and how they're laid out. And I really specifically like how the 30mm pans look in here. And it just gives a very luxurious feel. And I didn't really want to give that up by going to indie colors. Or not indie colors, but indie pan sizes, because no one makes 30mm pan sizes. Because I was planning on just getting a bunch of, whatever colors I want, and then swapping them out with colors that I didn't like in my motherships. But unless I want to go with 26mm pans, which I kind of don't, I kind of can't do that. I wasn't sure if this would bother me, given that they're large pans and they fit close together. I do think that this looks a lot less luxe than the mothership, but who's surprised? I don't think it bothers me. Maybe a little bit, but I don't think that'll keep me from using it. But I do love this. I do wish that it was easier to find things that I could swap out with these colors. And I don't want to buy a bunch of motherships just to swap the colors out. And Pat McGrath hasn't made some of the colors that I want. Like, she doesn't have this color anywhere. She arguably doesn't have this color anywhere either. Those are colors that I want. I really like this color too. I don't think she has anything like that foiled color. She might have something similar to it, but she doesn't have that one. But overall, I'm happy with my purchase. I really like these, and I really think that having all of these different mattes will let me use some of my more sparkly shades that maybe I don't use as often because I don't have a colorful matte to go with it that I would want. So we'll see how these work. But I'm pretty happy for now.
Hello, so it's future me here. I've had this for about 5-ish months now, and I figured I would round out this video with a little bit of a review on these eyeshadows after having them for a little while. So I'm still happy I got these. And the blush, I have packed away somewhere. I've kind of decluttered the blush. So the blush didn't really work out. That was a bit too warm toned for me. It was way, way, way too pigmented to be used as blush. It was absolutely what I would consider an eyeshadow formula. So I don't even have that out. But these eyeshadows, I'm pretty happy to have. I've gotten more use out of some than others, but overall, I'm happy with my overall purchase. Out of these eyeshadows, number one that I've used the most is definitely Bubblegum. This is such a good shadow for me, and I was really surprised. I debated getting this because it's a very light color. And I tend to be drawn more towards something very bright, almost fluorescent in pan, like this color. And so this was more of a pastel color, and I'm kind of used to, at least with clothing, pastels just looking terrible on me. So I kind of got this on a whim, kind of to round out the 9 pan, and because it was pink, and I was looking for pink mattes. But this is one of the best crease shades that I've found so far. It just looks really beautiful and almost natural in my crease. This is probably the closest I've gotten to a like a good neutral shade for me. Like most like neutral palettes run very orange or very, very yellow on me, and I just can't use them. They look comical, to be perfectly honest. But this looked good. It still looks like pink. It doesn't look like it's my skin tone, but it looks natural on me, if that makes sense. So I really like this by itself as a crease shade or all over my lids. I also like this as a blush. This is actually a really nice blush for me. Even though it is somewhat similar to the Haus Labs color, this goes on in more of an opaque fashion than the Haus Labs. Haus Labs tends to like blend into the skin really nicely. And usually I don't like things that look like they're, I mean, I guess it doesn't look like it's sitting on my skin, but you see the color more pronounced. And I like the feel that it gives. It gives a very ethereal look on my skin, and I really like it. It kind of gives me what I was hoping. I have an Hourglass blush. I think this is what I was hoping my Hourglass blush would give me. So I'm really happy to have this. And I think my only regret with this purchase is I only got one of these and not more. And if this was still available in the 37-inch or 37 millimeter pan, I would absolutely do another order just to get backups of this because I really like this color. So after this one, I don't know between these two which one I use more. I probably like the pink one more. The purple one, it still runs a little bit more purpley on me than I would like, but I like both of these because they're very cool toned and very bright, and I appreciate that. And especially with, what is this called? I'm with the DJ. This one pairs really nicely with Jellyfish. It's like this has the same base color in a way to Jellyfish. But Jellyfish has that blue flip to it. So these two pair together really nicely. And I tend to wear those together pretty often. If I'm wearing I'm with the DJ, I'll probably wear this with it. However, with Jellyfish, it goes on a bit more opaque than I really like. And I think having this helps me understand why I like my Pat McGrath shimmers and metallics and all of those pretty formulas so much. Pat McGrath things that look like this have a certain sheerness to them, in that they blend into your skin very beautifully, even if they're a really wild color. They lay really nicely on top of the skin. And this also lays nicely on top of the skin, but it's very opaque. It doesn't look like it's a part of your skin in any way, if that makes sense. And I kind of miss that when I use this. I find that for me, this is more useful as like a liner color or like a deepening color at the corners of my eyes. But I don't like wearing this on my lids. It looks too dark because it's just a bit too opaque, I think. So, I mean, I don't think it's fair to the shadow to be comparing it to Pat McGrath, just price-wise. As much as I like this, I think that this has limited utility for me. Because if I'm looking for something to go on my lids, I'm always going to go for one of my Pat McGrath eyeshadows. And this I'm basically just going to be using as a liner color, or if I'm just doing a dual look with these two eyeshadows, I'll put this at the corner of my eyes as a deepening color. But that's kind of it. That's kind of all I'm going to be able to use Jellyfish for. And I enjoy having it. It's a fun color. I don't know if I'd purchase it again, though. Now, this one, which I think is Strawberry Piñata, and I'm so sorry, I keep on getting Strawberry Piñata mixed up. Yeah, I keep on calling this Strawberry Cheesecake, and it's Raspberry Cheesecake. But yeah, Strawberry Piñata, I like. This is very nice and bright, and this gives me a variety of really fun looks. I've been enjoying working with this one a lot. It's just not as, like, neutral looking as Bubblegum. And see how powdery these are. These are a lot more powdery than, say, like my Pat McGrath shadows. And by the way, I'm comparing these to Pat McGrath because that's basically all that I have outside of these from Give Me Glow. And so they're just a different formula than what I'm used to. And they're a bit more messy too. But they're very pretty. But you see how this one just, I don't know, I feel like it blends into my skin really nicely. Like, I know it's still pink, it's still very obviously pink, but it looks so nice and ethereal. These two are much brighter colors, much more wild colors, if you will, but I like them. I think one thing that I don't love is they don't sheer out quite as easily as my Pat McGrath formulas. Now, the bubblegum I don't care so much about because it's already just such a nice, light, pretty color. But one thing I like about Pat McGrath's mattes is while they're really pigmented, they're also almost infinitely sheerable. Like each one of her mattes kind of takes the place of a few different matte colors because, let's say that this is a Pat McGrath color. This is Starboy. You could probably build up to this color on your eyes if you really wanted to. Or you could get something that was much, much, much more sheer. You could get the lightest wash of color and everything in between. And I find with these mattes, you can sheer them out, but they're not quite as elegant. Like at a certain point, they'll start being a little bit patchy, especially if you keep on playing with them. The formula just doesn't seem to be for shearing out quite as much. And again, I know it's not super fair to be comparing these to Pat McGrath's formula, especially given the price points, but I'm just comparing these with how I plan on using them. But overall, I'm really happy with these three colors, and I enjoy having Jellyfish, especially since I'm with the DJ. Now, these three colors, I initially got these as, or at least these two I got as like liner colors, like just darker colors that I would use as a liner around my eyes, like in my lash line. And I find that these are really powdery to use for that purpose. They kind of are difficult to work with if I'm trying to use them as liners. They're just too powdery. I also just don't like the colors on my skin. They're a bit too dark. They're a bit too muted. They just don't do me any favors. So these two I've kind of just stopped using. I just don't bother at this point. And this one, Raspberry Cheesecake, I had such high expectations for this color. I was really excited to get this. I keep on putting way more on these swatches than I'm intending to. But I just don't love the color. And wow, that went on really patchy. I don't think I usually have issues with this being patchy. I think this is just because it's at like my wrist. But it's almost, I don't know if it's too warm toned. I don't know what it is about the tone of this color, but I don't like it. Well, it's fine, but I don't like it as much as, what is this called? Strawberry Piñata? Strawberry Piñata. I will choose Strawberry Piñata over Raspberry Cheesecake every single time. Every single time. So I also haven't been using this one because effectively I have these three colors. I have Strawberry Piñata that I like better, and then I have these two other pink colors as well. So this is kind of, it's a color that isn't terrible. It's not bad, but it's not as good as the other three colors that I have. So this one I've kind of stopped using as well. Now, these two, my bright teal and cobalt blue, these are fun colors, but they're a little tricky to work with. These can get a bit patchy on me really easily, but I think it's just because of the colors. Like they're blue and green. These are not colors that typically blend well into my skin tone. But I do like them. They're just fun to have around. Now these are for more wild looks. I tend to not use as much of these in my crease or in my eye looks as I would, say, like a Bubblegum. But they're really fun to play with, and I'm really happy that I got them. But I will say, even though I enjoy having these around, kind of like these 5 colors, these 5 mattes, I really enjoy these. And I'm really happy with all of these. And I'm happy that I have these really bright mattes. And I'm also really happy that I have this pink that almost works as a neutral color for me. Because as much as I, in my last video, was talking about like all of these bright mattes and how I wanted bright mattes to make really cool eye looks and everything, I think also what I was missing was neutral colors. They always run orange or yellow, or both. And they don't look good on me. They kind of look like I have dirt on my face or like mud on my face. And it looks worse than if I don't have makeup on. Let me put it that way. And so it was really cool to see this, and it looks like it's still obviously pink, but it looks natural-ish on my skin. Like it's just a nice subdued color that just gives a little bit of color, a little bit of definition where I put it. And I thought that was really nice. I don't know if I'm going to call this a neutral color, but it's the most neutral color I've been able to come by so far that I like. Because even Pat McGrath's matte shadows, even Subliminal, like if I look at, what's the taupe in there? I think it's called Ultimate Taupe. That still runs a little bit orangey on me. Just like a little bit. It's not the worst. It's still pretty good. I can still use it. But it doesn't look amazing on my skin. There's something a little bit off about it, which makes me sad. So I'm happy to have this. And overall, I'm still really happy with my purchase. I'm happy to have tried these out. I'm happy to have these, and I will continue loving to use these.
Thank you so much for spending your precious time with me. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was entertaining or useful in some way, and I will see you in the next one.